My name is Shannon Rosa. I'm the parent of a 10-year-old son with autism. His name's Leo. And I'm also a blogger's contributing editor for Parenting Children with Special Needs. And I am one of the founders and also an editor at The Thinking Person's Guide to Autism. The Thinking Person's Guide to Autism is a book and a blog and a community. And it's basically, we created it to be the resource that we wish had been available when our kids with autism were first diagnosed. So we present, evidence-based approaches. We present, personal stories from the perspective of both parents and for adults with autism because, again, when my son was first diagnosed, I found it really hard to find good information that would put me on a track of, supporting my son in a way that recognized that he had challenges but respected and supported him as a person. And I think that's difficult for a lot of people with parents of children with autism because a lot of the media images of autism are based on negative stereotypes that in a lot of cases are just not true or don't have to be true if you find the right community. This is something I'd love to see parents of kids with new diagnoses get a hold of. This is the book I hope people will recommend. It'll get out there and people will know. Because the reason we did it is because there isn't anything out there like this book. When I was first a parent of a child with a new diagnosis, I found information on autism on Amazon.com. I mean, that's the first place I went to. And the books that I found were okay, but they weren't fantastic. And if we could get knowledge of this book out there, that this has these perspectives from not just parents, experienced parents who have gone through big learning curves and have learned everything. So the new parents don't have to, ideally. And then also from professionals saying, well, things like, if your child has an autism diagnosis, here are some things that you can expect and here are some approaches you can take from the perspective of a speech therapist, from the perspective of an occupational therapist, from the perspective of a behaviorist. These are really valid because a lot of times people, these therapies are expensive and people don't always have the opportunity to address these professionals directly. And so the great thing about it is that almost every single story in the book does have a blog post, counterpart on the site, so you can actually ask the people who wrote them these questions directly if you have questions. And then the other thing is, it includes perspectives from adults with autism, which is perspectives that I never had access to as a new parent, and it never occurred to me to know that there were people out there with autism who could write and had these fantastic perspectives, because my only knowledge was of things like Rain Man, I didn't know anything about autism coming from outside the community. And I think this is kind of a crash course to get people knowing how multifaceted and supportive and informative the community can be.